The Benin Kingdom, one of the oldest and most powerful empires in Africa, was a beacon of culture, art, and commerce. From its foundation centuries ago, Benin had grown into a sophisticated city-state known for its remarkable urban planning, its deep spiritual roots, and most famously, its bronzes, masterpieces of African artistry. But at the heart of this flourishing kingdom was its ruler, the Oba, considered not only a king, but also a divine figure, the intermediary between the gods and the people. In 1888, the throne of this great empire was passed to a man who would oversee its final days of independence, Oba Ovonramwen. Ovonramwen was no ordinary king. His name, which means the king has the world in his hands, carried the weight of both expectation and responsibility. He inherited the throne from his father, Oba Adolo, at the time when the Benin Kingdom was at a crossroads. European influence was growing, and the British, in particular, were aggressively expanding their colonial reach. The Benin Empire, hungry for Africans' resources, saw Benin's wealth, particularly its palm oil, rubber, and ivory, as irresistible. But Oba Ovonramwen, like his forefathers, was determined to keep foreign powers at bay, resisting efforts to sign away Benin's sovereignty. He knew that the British weren't just traders, they were conquerors. In the early 1890s, the British officials pushed harder. They sought to establish greater control over Benin through a series of so-called treaties. One of the most notable attempts was led by Captain Galway, who sought to force Oba Ovonramwen to sign a treaty that would effectively place Benin under British protection. But Oba Ovonramwen was no fool. He saw through their intentions and refused to bow to foreign demands. For him, the signing of such a treaty wasn't just about trade. It was about the sovereignty and survival of the Benin Kingdom. His refusal angered the British, but they bided their time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. As tensions grew, so did the British interest in Benin's vast wealth. But it wasn't just the economy that fascinated them. Benin's culture, the bronzes, the art, and the deep spiritual traditions was something the British couldn't fully understand, yet desperately wanted to control. By January 1897, things came to a head. The British, under acting consul James Phillips, planned a so-called peaceful mission to Benin City. Phillips and his men hoped to confront Ovonramwen and force him to comply with British demand once and for all, but they chose the wrong time. Unbeknown to them, the kingdom was preparing for the sacred Igwe festival, a time of year when outsiders were strictly forbidden from entering Benin City. The Igwe festival was more than just a celebration. It was a deeply spiritual event, meant to renew the Oba's power and strengthen the bond between the king and his people. When Phillips and his men pressed forward, ignoring the warnings, they sealed their fate. Benin warriors ambushed the British delegation, killing most of them. This event, known as the Benin Massacre, would forever change the course of history. The British Empire, humiliated and enraged, wasted no time in responding. Within weeks, they organized a massive punitive expedition led by Admiral Sir Harry Rossing. The goal was clear: invade Benin City, capture or kill the Oba, and loot the kingdom's treasures. On February 9, 1897, the British forces began their march towards Benin, and with the latest military technology, they quickly overwhelmed the Benin warriors, who fought valiantly but were no match for the British firepower. By February 18, 1897, the British had entered Benin City. What they found shocked even them: a city of immense wealth, filled with thousands of bronze and ivory work of art, symbol of the kingdom's long and illustrious history. The British looted indiscriminately, taking priceless artifacts that would later be displayed in museums across Europe. But their thirst for vengeance was not yet satisfied. They set fire to the city, leaving much of Benin in ruins. Oba Ovonramwen, having anticipated the invasion, had fled into the surrounding forest with his wives and a few loyal chiefs. For months, he evaded capture, moving deeper into the wilderness. But by August 1897, realizing that continued resistance would only bring more suffering to his people, Ovonramwen made the painful decision to surrender. He emerged from hiding and surrendered to the British on September 5, 1897. In a moment of great humility and dignity, the once powerful king knelt before the British forces, wearing the traditional white cloth of surrender. Ovonramwen was exiled to Calabar, where he lived the remainder of his life in solitude. He died in 1914, far away from his beloved kingdom. Though his kingdom was taken from him, Ovonramwen's legacy endures. The Benin bronzes, looted during the punitive expedition, remain symbol of African resilience, artistic genius, and cultural pride. These bronzes, now displayed in museums around the world, are a reminder of the kingdom that once stood as a beacon of African civilization. Today, there are growing calls for these artifacts to be returned to their rightful home in Nigeria and in Benin City. The descendants of Ovonramwen continue to honor the traditions of the ancient kingdom, ensuring that the spirit of Benin lives on. The story of Oba Ovonramwen is not just the tale of a king. It is the story of a people, a culture, and a legacy that refuse to be erased.